Hello, and we are back doing tutorials on Blender. I'm glad to see a couple of people have been sending me some imagery in the Discord and are getting along with it really well. If you are struggling, which I know a few people are struggling, it's not an easy thing to learn and to pick up. We will be doing some one-to-ones in our Blender, and hopefully I can help a few people out. You can also put questions in the comments and I'll try and answer them as best as I can. And if you want any particular video on a particular thing, a particular modifier, or just something you're really struggling with and you want me to go over it again in a bit more detail, please put messages in the comments. I do read all the comments, and I will try my best to put something in there that'll help you if you're struggling with a particular area. Today we're going to be looking at Booleans. Booleans are a great way to cut into objects to make some really creative shapes. And I'm going to show you how to do that today. It's a very quick lesson, but it's a very powerful lesson. So I'm going to make the top of a handgun very quickly. So you're going to see me quickly put this together. So stretching it out, so that's like the top bit. And I'm going to select this side and this side. I'm going to do a B for bevel. I'm going to bevel that off so it's sort of rounded. So you've got that top that looks a bit like that. And then I'm going to take, what we'll do as well is, we'll leave that. I'm going to put a circular thing, let's get a cylinder. Let's rotate that cylinder 90 degrees along that axis, and then we're going to stretch that bad boy out like this. And we're also going to make it a little smaller. So it's going to sit there, and then we're going to pull it back here, and then on this side I'm going to grab that, do this, select the face. Again, don't worry about this, I'm just making something so that you can see what it looks like when it actually sort of works. I'm going to grab that a little bit further out, grab it out a little bit more, sort of round it off a little bit more and round it off so it's like that. So that's the back end, that's the front end, and then the gun bit would be down here. Okay, so you kind of get an idea for this is the top of a handgun. Now at the moment it's very good. We got one part and two part. I'm going to actually separate them because I kind of want this to be a different part. So I'm going to press P and separate that. So now it's two objects. We got this bit and we got this bit. Okay. So let's say I want to create something, a nice effect on this particular part. So some handguns have like a cutout bit here, and to do that I could take this, go into here and do what we learned on the edges with the Control R. We do ring select and start cutting it up and stuff like that. But there's actually an easier way to do it, and we're going to use the Boolean tool. Okay, so I'm going to create another object. This object is going to be what we're going to use as our Boolean. So I'm going to create a cube, and I'm going to move it out. Now you can do stuff to this cube. I can round the edges. I can do all kinds of stuff to make it pretty. But in this case, I'm just going to leave it square. I'm going to stretch it out a bit. Now what I'm going to do with this particular object is I'm going to make it wireframe. Actually, I wanted to just make that wireframe. It's not going to let me, is it? I can't remember the button. Don't worry about it. We can still do without. So let's move it up and put it into place where I'd like this hole. I want it somewhere, I think, there. I want it there. Okay. So what I've done is I've selected the area where I want the hole that's going to appear in this. So what I do is I select this. I select the bit I want a Boolean. I go into modifiers, go into modify panel, and I go into generate and then Booleans, the third one down. I then need to select the object that I want it to cut out of. So I will click this button, which is the eyedropper, and select the cube. And what that's done is it's cut the cube out of that. You can't see it, but it's done it. So now, if I press accept and remove the cube, you'll see there's a hole in the gun. And the reason I left this as a separate object is because now you can see that through the hole, which gives me that gun shape. Now, let's say, for example, I wanted to make some cuts here that would look really cool. So let's do that really quick. Let's go into mesh. Let's make a cube. Let's take that cube a little bit down as small as we can. Push it over here. We're going to make it go up like this. And we're going to stretch it down so it's like that. We're going to go up a bit like this. And then we're going to grab the top. So I'm just grabbing the top with this. And I'm going to move it to the side. So now I've got like a slant like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the object. Instead of doing anything hard, because I don't need to, I'm going to go into modifiers. I'm going to go into generate. I'm going to go into arrays. I'm going to make that into 0. And I'm going to go with that and put that to 1. Which will put it there. And then I can separate it out to where I want it. Thinking somewhere around there. And then I'm just going to take the number up to that. When I'm happy with that, I'm quite happy with that. I might go one more actually. I'm going to go accept, so I've got it. I'm then going to stretch it down a bit, and I'm going to move it across. And I'm going to move it into position. Now I could put this on the object as it is, because it's kind of cool. You know, I could put it like that. And it does look pretty wicked. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as a Boolean to cut into my object. So again, I'm just going to make sure that it's within the object. Clicking this part again, add modifier, generate Boolean, and I'm going to select this and then go to apply. And then I'm going to delete the object I've made, and you see it's cut into the object now. So now I have this effect here. So now I've got that plus that. Now let's have a look at a different thing that it can be done. It can also do what's called unions, which is where you join an object to it. So let's say, for example, I wanted to make a sight for the gun. So let's say I moved it over here, and I was taking it up like this, and I wanted to make a sight. So my sight's going to be something that looks like this there, and then I'm going to want to have a little bit there. So what I'm going to do is click this. I'm going to do ring select. Going to do 2 and then put that in the middle. Then I'm going to go here and do ring select. I'm going to go 2 and then I'm just going to drag that down to there. So now I've got that. And then I can select this bit here, which is the bit I want. E for extrude. And then what I can do is I can do another extrude to there, and then take that edge and lift it up, and we have our trigger or our sight. Just for cool sake, I could take this edge and take that edge there, do a bevel. And how to fix that, if you don't like the look of that, what we could do is we could reset the scale. So if you go to object transform scale, that should reset the scale. I hope. Has it reset the scale? No. There is a way of resetting scale. Yeah, clear scale. It's not that either. One of them resets the scale, and when you do, you can use the Booleans. I will look into that. But for now, this is stuff I don't know. The stuff that I don't know that I just pick up when I'm doing stuff. So I tend to, as I'm building, I like look into stuff if there's things that I think, do you know what, I need to know that, and I don't know that. So I'm just tweaking around with it, trying to get it sort of looking half decent. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I think that was pretty cool. So that's going to be the site. Now I can join these two together. What I do is I select this part here. I then go into Boolean, the same thing, and I select this. But instead of cutting it out, I select union. And what union does is it joins the two together. So when I delete this, you'll see now this is one object. So it's now one piece. So it's like a way of joining, but joining it properly. So it actually is joined to that object. It's not just joined with the mesh. It's properly joined. So you can do that. You also, you know, if you're doing stuff with the edges and stuff, if you wanted to make here, you can always cut in. So if you do E for extrude and cut down like that, you can do E for extrude and cut back like this. So you can do that. Now if you wanted to make it so that this circle here was cut into that, you could do that too. So let's take that and let's go into Boolean and then select this and then press OK. Now the difference is we're not going to remove this, but if we did, we could make a big hole in it, but we haven't done that. So you could generate Boolean, select the circle, even though it says cube for some reason. It's not a cube. Yeah, and then difference apply. It isn't cutting into it, but sometimes it can be a pain in the butt. You have to fiddle around with them, but most of the time it will cut in, and you can, you know, we can get some effects. But anyway, the whole point is, remember, if you want to smooth something off, you can go into edit mode. You can select all of it and go into face, and then go into shade smooth, and that will smooth off the object. Same here, you could do that. You could select all these, and then you could go into face and say smooth. I'll give you smooth. Now the thing is, sometimes it doesn't work on areas like that because they need to be marked sharp. So you'd need to mark all those sharp. Let me show you. So when you got an edge like that, you can select the edges, you know, like all these edges if you wanted to. I'm not going to do it, but you can do. I can do it for, you know, 2 of them. You select them all, and then you go into edge, and then you mark sharp here. And what that does is it puts that round it. Now what that means is that when I select this, go into edit mode and select everything, I go into face and do set smooth, you'll notice that those two don't do it as much as the others. You can barely tell, but it won't do it, and that allows us to control basically how much is going to be affected by it. So that's what that is. But you can see very quickly that just with, you know, these Booleans and the cutting into it like this, you're able to create some really fantastic effects that don't take too long, and hopefully that's going to help you. So I want you to go around, I want you to mess around with Booleans, I want you to mess around with cutting into objects and seeing what kind of patterns and effects you can get, and let me know. I'm looking forward to seeing it.